be back, officially back in live and doing all the things, you know. um, this episode is I'm gonna try for shorter episodes. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So I just want to put that out there. I'm gonna try for shorter episodes here. That's number one. Point number two. Please, 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 please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. It helps us grow, and your participation, your help is detrimental in this effort that we're making, that I'm making to have this channel grow. And it's I'll take it even far as calling it some form of a ministry. Like it's this is not about me. This is about the sharing of the gospel, the good news. And that's what I want it to be about. And that's what it's going to be about from this point on. And I'm excited for this change, this new development that I decided that this is what the podcast was going to be about from this point on. And I'm, like I said, guys, I'm really excited for this change. We of course will still be talking dad stuff, but I want the forefront of this to be faith. Mediocre Dads here. We're going to be talking about faith, culture, and of course, being a dad and all of that. So, diving right into today's episode, I'm going to start off by reading Galatians verses our chapter 1 verses 6 through 10, because I think this is important, and when I read it, I think you'll be able to ascertain what exactly this episode is going to be discussing. So it says, I'm astonished that you are so quickly deserting him who called you in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel. Not that there is another one, but there are some who trouble you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed. And we have said before, so now I say again, if anyone is preaching to you a gospel contrary to the one you received, let him be accursed. For I am now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If we're still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. Gosh, let me just say, I love the start of Galatians because for me, it feels like Paul comes out here and he's ready. He's ready for to have this hard talk in this letter to the Galatians, the church of I don't what I forgot what it's called. Jeez, to this church, this is the church writing this letter to let them know, right, that there was a gospel that was given to you and you received. And now you are deserting that gospel. You are ready to Jesus talked about itching ears. You're ready to listen to something else and say that this is the gospel because it fits better for you, because it allows you to continue sinning but still claiming to be saved, to be changed, to be made anew. I know a lot of people, and I'm sure we all do. Matter of fact, let me ask you guys this question. How many friends do you know? How many people do you know that they grew up going to church, they grew up Christian, and when they became adults, they very quickly abandoned their faith. They said, "You know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I don't have to go to church. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to be this thing that my parents want me to be. I don't have to believe what my parents want me to believe, because it doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't like the pressure it puts on me to be different from my friends. I don't like the pressure that it puts on me to be able to, uh, you know, do the things that I want to do that are all the kids do when you graduate high school, you go to college, or even in high school nowadays, kids are drinking and they're getting into drugs and they're doing all these things, sex, all of it, right? They're getting involved in all these things early. But if you're a Bible thumping believer, well, you can't participate in those activities. And so therefore, Christianity or faith, Christ holds you back. And so I bring this up because I myself was that. I joined the army, as all of you or some of you, a lot of you know. And um, right after basic training and everything, I got to my first unit. I very quickly decided that I wasn't going to go to church anymore. I stopped going to church, and because again, I didn't like the pressure that it put on me, I'll tell you guys, it didn't for me at the time. It didn't the culture that the army had and wanted, and what I believed it wanted it to me to become and turn into, didn't fit, didn't go with being a man of faith, and I, I'll just say this: I know a lot of servicemen, men and women who struggle with this, with the combination of being in the military, but also being men and women of faith. And so, for me, I honestly, I just decided I wasn't going to do the whole Christian thing anymore. I wasn't going to let it be the thing that holds me back, be the thing that makes me different, because I didn't want to be different. I wanted to conform. I wanted to be like everybody else. And very quickly, when it's almost like it's everyone knows you're a free agent. You have all these people who come at you from different backgrounds, and they start telling you about their faith, and they start telling you about how Muhammad is the way to go, how Buddha is the way to go, how in Mormon, what is it? Joseph Smith is correct, and how he had this amazing revelation. He's the way to go, and you start to see and realize, it's almost like, again, like everyone knows, oh, you're a free agent. Yeah, you don't know where you are in your faith. You don't know how to talk about your faith. You don't know how to express your faith. You don't even you're questioning every avenue of everything that you've come to believe thus far. So anybody tells you anything, you can't wait to receive it. And the crazy part about all of this is, and I'll speak for me in this instance, it was in a time in my life where I was I didn't know I didn't know which way was up. I didn't know which way was down. And I wanted to believe something. I wanted to believe anything. Just like I wanted to just believe. And it was crazy, because I remember I have a friend, and he was talking to me about, joining the Freemasons, the Masons organization that he was with. And I was let me tell you how close I was. I met some folks. I got introduced to some people. I had some conversations where I got to ask some questions, and what I came to, and one of the things that really sparked my interest was the idea of being a part of something where we all had the same goal, right? Like, I was in the army, right? Don't get me wrong. So, like, there was a shared goal there as well. But I'm meaning not just professionally in the military, but also outside, as a man, as a young black man, as a person who was looking for a community. And I tell y'all, I was so close to joining the organization. I talked to Aubrey about it. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about joining. I'm thinking about doing this, and all these things. And for whatever reason, I say for whatever reason, but truthfully, I think I know why. The Lord, and He was still working in my life, even though I wasn't close to Him at the time. He made sure it didn't happen. And I didn't end up joining. I just was like, you know what, I'm not really into all those things. I don't need these entities to succeed, or to get to be that what I'm looking for. But why this is important, why I think all of this is important, because there comes a point in a man and a woman's life where they start looking for something. They start searching for for something bigger and larger than themselves. And in their heart, it aches. It cries out. It says, "Hey, Your experience thus far on this earth has shown you that there has to be a greater power. There is a greater power than yourself. So they start seeking. And, a lot of people fall prey and victim to, um, unfortunately, to what I would say is a false doctrine. They follow, they become, a lot of them convert to Islam, saying, it's the religion of peace, and the actions, the act of praying 5 times a day and surrendering to Allah, and just being, you know having be seeking this, almost this inner peace, in this of being changed. It brings them peace, it brings them comfort. Or you have those who become Mormons, and I don't know a lot of people who've converted to Mormonism, but I do know a lot of people who were. I'll use this term, and I don't know if this is accurate to say, but they were practicing Mormons, if you will, when as they were growing up, and then when they died older, they more or less left the church for some time, and when as they're seeking something, they come back to the Church of Mormon, or the LDS Church. And, I know a lot of people who they go everywhere except Christ. And it's unfathomable to me, because it breaks my heart, because there's a version of Christ in there, in all of those things. There's a version of Christ in Islam. There's a version of Christ in for the Mormons as well, or the LDS Church. Gosh, I really just hate semantics. Whatever. And there's a version of Christ in there, but it's not the Christ. It's not the Christ that is talked about in the Gospels. It's not the Christ that's what being a Christian, about being a born again Christian, is about. And this is why I think Galatians 1, again, verses 6 through 10, is so important, because the part here let's first go over the part in verses 7, where he starts talking about, well, we'll do 6 and 7. I'm not astonished that you are so quickly, or I am astonished that you are so quickly deserting him who called you in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel. Not that there is another one, but there are some who trouble you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. But even if we, and this is verse 8, but even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed. Listen. Muhammad claimed, well, it wasn't Muhammad, but Muhammad was told, and made to believe, that the creature that he encountered in the cave was Gabriel, was an angel, right? Joseph Smith believed that he had an encounter with an angel, or with God, and was given these 2 golden tablets, similar to Moses, right? Again, pay attention, right? These religious beliefs here, both believe they were approached by, or encountered with, a deity such as an angel, and they told them what the real gospel is. Now, in the sake for Islam, that's not necessarily the case. He didn't tell it. I know in his encounter in the cave, he wanted him to recite something. I don't remember what exactly it was, but he wanted him to recite something specific. But Muhammad, of course, was, and I'll use this term sparingly, I believe he was illiterate, or he didn't know how to read, and so therefore he couldn't read what he wanted him to be to recite, or whatever the case might be. But again, I encourage you guys all to go look into this encounter, and what Muslims believe, and how the faith of Islam came to be in this through the Muhammad's encounter with this creature in the cave. But it's so amazing because people will say, okay, I'm praying to Allah. I'm washing my hands and my feet, and the prayers are called something specific. Forgive me, I'm not good with these these Arabic terms, so I don't know how to say it, but I know what the word is. What they call their morning prayers and their morning prayer and their the rest of the prayers throughout the day. But then it's this thing where it's an infatuation with the act of praying. It becomes about the act of praying. And for a lot of them, for a lot of people who follow Islam, it becomes more about the act of the prayer and in doing it 5 times, feeling like you're doing something and praying to something bigger than greater than yourself. And again, it just hurts me because a lot of those people used to be Christians. They used to be followers of Christ. They used to, and I'll put it this way: they used to be followers of Christ very loosely, but they knew who Christ was. They grew up going to church, knowing and understanding who Jesus was, what his sacrifice meant for humanity. But they got to a point where they wanted to live in the world. And then they got to a point where they say, there's something bigger than myself. And instead of going back to Christ, they searched something else. Or even some of them, they went back to Christ, but then it became about, there was a realization that the church is full of sinners who are pretending to be perfect, who are pretending that they have it all together, who are pretending that they know more and have a better they have God's ear more than you do. Now, I want to be careful here, right? There are those who are more mature in their faith, but that doesn't mean you get to boast in your knowledge of who God is, because it's not yours, it's what he gave you, right? So they boast about themselves rather than boasting about Christ. Matter of fact, in 2 Corinthians, let's see, I was reading this today. Let me see. Man, I don't want to find it quickly, but if I can't find it, then I won't. I can't find it. So I think maybe it was somewhere else. It was another verse, but it was about boasting. He was talking about it. Anyway, I had it. I don't know where it went, but I can't remember the verse right now. But they boast about themselves as if it's their work, as if it's what they did got them there, as if it's what their knowledge, their ability has got them to the point of where they have discernment and wisdom of Christ, of the Lord's word, and so then you have these people who are like, well, I don't want to be around those people. I don't want to be surrounded by people who think they got it all crap together, because I don't have my crap together. That's why I'm here. And don't get me wrong, church hurt is real. It is very real. But I try to, my words of encouragement in that regards are to just let you know that I understand church hurt is real. But just like you, they're trying to have something inside of them be changed and renewed. But they would rather act and pretend to be perfect. And here's my thing, honestly, just go to a different church. Because not every church is like that. There are a lot of good churches out there, but there are a lot of bad churches out there as well, right? And I'll let you be the deciding fact. Matter of fact, that's a topic for another time. Discerning between a good and a bad church. I think that's a good conversation. But you know, I think it's finding a new church is probably the best route to go. And and I want you guys to understand why I'm reading this, why it's so important to me, because Christ died on the cross for our sins. And I say that, and I know a lot of you are like, yeah, I've heard that before. I get it. I get it. When Christ died, he died on the cross for our sins. I get it. I get it. But I don't think you guys understand what that really means. I don't think a lot of you really understand what that actually means. That he who was already in heaven gave up what he was already enjoying to be sent down here in flesh to live as a man, and then to die on the cross as a man for you and I. His blood is what cleans us, to give us salvation, knowing that there was no way that we could save ourselves. And I want you guys to understand that this is what the good news is, that we have an opportunity for salvation. We have an opportunity to be made new. I'll read this from 2 Corinthians because I know it's right here. Okay, so it's Second Corinthians chapter 5, and I'll start with verses 17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. And then I'll go down to verse 20, where it says, therefore, we are ambassadors for Christ, God making his appeal through us. We implore you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to God. For our sake, he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. You are made new. All you have to do is believe in Christ. That's it. And it sounds cheesy. It sounds ridiculous. But I'm telling you, give them a chance. Don't let these other false gospels trick you into believing that there are many ways to God. There's not. John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. None can come to the Father except through me. What does that mean? There are no other many ways to God. There is only one way, and that is through Jesus Christ. There's only one way. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. You have people who want to become who fall into the fascination with Islam. I was there. I get it. I was there. I was a millisecond step away from saying I'm going to go convert to Islam. And matter of fact, I'll tell y'all this. I love transparency, and I'll tell y'all this. I was when I went to Afghanistan, I was looking for any reason to convert to Islam. I was looking for anything that would give me the courage, if you will, to say I'm going to convert to Islam. I'm in Afghanistan, a country full of Muslims. They pray 5 times a day. I get it. I tell you all these things because I was there. I wanted to do it myself. So I tell y'all this: don't get fooled. Don't you see these videos on social media? I know I'm here on social media right now, and I'm one of these many videos that are telling you to believe in Jesus Christ. But I don't do this because I want to bring, attention to me. I want to plant a seed. And don't and these videos, who are these folks who are like I'm or who are in Islam, or Islam or Muslim, and they're hitting you with these good points, right? It's all about these good points. Let me tell you about why the Bible is false. Let me tell you why this. Let me tell you this. No. You want to know you want to know what the truth is? Go read it. Go read it for yourself. And if you don't have one, let me know. I'll get you one. I promise you. I will order you a Bible today if you don't have one. Just let me know. Because I can tell you right now, you can go pick up the Quran. You're not going to find God in there. You can pick up the Book of Mormon. You're not going to find God in there. You want to know who God is? You want to know who Jesus is? You want your life to be changed. You want a changed heart and a changed mind. You want a life that is of peace and joy, full of the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit. You need one of these. So that's what I encourage y'all. Listen, I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to call names. I'm not here to say that, make people get all a certain way. Like, I had someone recently hit me up, have a conversation with me because they didn't like my a comment I made about Mormons. And I'll put it this way: I do apologize for the comment that I made, but I don't apologize for uh, posting the video and me believing in a lot of ways what I said to be true, but not in that sense. I won't repeat it because I don't want to get people get all up in arms about it. But because I'm not here to butt heads. I'm not here to call to bring people to want to argue with me. I don't like I even though I enjoy watching debates and art and truthfully I do enjoy arguing in a sense. Uh, if you want to do it in person, fine. If you want to have a conversation with me in person, we can go back and forth that way. But but I'm not here to do the clickety clackety on my phone and talk back and forth. I won't do that. I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to spread the good news. So that is all I got, guys. Please, if you go on to my link tree, you'll see it's Buy Me a Coffee. And if you feel so compelled to support Mediocre Dads monetarily, that is the best way to do it. If not, if you can't, I get it. I paid way too much money for gas, over $100. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I get it. So if not, the best way you can support the channel, and it's free, is to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. That's it. That's all I ask. That's the best way to support us over here at Mediocre Dads and for it to grow. So that is all I got. I appreciate y'all joining me. As usual, being mediocre is a choice, and you have to refuse to be mediocre every single day. That is all I got. Mediocre Dads out.